Now, you know the bag for life shopping bags you've got? Most of us have them. Sometimes they're sitting in the boot of the car, sometimes they're hanging on the back of the door, or they're filled with something else that isn't food. So how clean are they? Campylobacter is the UK's leading cause of food poisoning, and nearly 500,000 cases are recorded last year, according to Public Health England. The Food Standards Agency estimates that it causes around 100 deaths a year. Most cases come from poultry, when bacteria are transferred from raw meat onto ready-to-eat foods. Now, two of the UK's major grocers, Morrisons and M&S, have started using a new kind of shopping bag developed in the UK with technology which aims to reduce how these bugs spread. Jo Meek reports.
I've just done my weekly shop. It's the usual thing: vegetables, packets, tinned food, also sausages and chicken. It's all gone into one of the scruffy bags for life which I keep in the boot of my car. I use them for everything: shopping, going to the gym, picnics, you name it. And that's the problem.
When that meat is put into our shopping bag, there is a possibility that the organisms will then contaminate the bag. And then afterwards, the bag might be used for a completely different purpose, and it's then that cross-contamination can occur, so that those organisms make the journey from the poultry via the bag onto something else that then can cause us to become unwell. And it's that link really that we need to be mindful of.
Anthony Hilton is Professor of Applied Microbiology at Aston University. He and his team studied 3 different types of bag just before the 5p charge was introduced in 2015. They investigated how bacteria like E. coli and Campylobacter can survive on a bag and how easily it can then transfer to your hands.
We know from surveys that have been done by the Food Standards Agency that probably in the region of 60 to 70% of raw poultry contains Campylobacter on the meat itself, but probably about 5% or so of the packaging on the outside contains Campylobacter.
Professor Hilton's experiments have shown that 1 million cells of Staphylococcus aureus, the bacteria commonly found on our hands but which can cause illness, survived for over 8 weeks and took 16 weeks to disappear completely. They also showed that about a quarter of bacteria on plastic bags can be transferred to our hands in a single touch.
The only real situation is when we use a bag for life for multiple purposes, and that could be for high-risk activities like raw meat and poultry, fish, things like that, and then we use it for other activities where we're putting in ready-to-eat foods or other inanimate objects that could end up going in your mouth or being given to a child or something like that. So it's really about engaging with the opportunity of using a single bag for life, but not using it for multiple purposes.
But there is technology that could reduce the survival rates of bacteria in bags, and it uses silver.
Silver's been used for over 2,000 years. The Phoenicians used to have silver jugs to keep their water fresh.
Paul Morris is the founding chief executive of Addmaster and developed Biomaster antimicrobial technology, which can be added to plastic or textiles to give protection. It was first used across the NHS to combat MRSA. He saw Professor Hilton's study about bacteria in reusable bags and decided to approach retailers with his technology.
We did a survey recently of just what people do carry around, and we've had everything from a tortoise to the vet to a stuffed fox, old football boots. It seemed to be quite a lot of dead animals people put in there, but they seem to think that they could then just reuse it for anything they want and go shopping with it. There's bags I've used for lots of different things, for sports kits, bringing my lunch into work. People just assume that there's a safety there, and it's not until these scientific reports are coming out that there could be some major risks. The silver technology really fits the bill in what we want to do, particularly when we're in contact with food and we're protecting the consumer.
Peter Ralton is the commercial director of B&G Products. They're using Paul's Biomaster technology and putting it into cool bags and other food packaging at his small factory in Staffordshire.
The way that it enters the product is basically when it comes off the reel. You can see 2 reels on here on the back end of the machine. So the product, the antibacterial, is dispersed within the film that you see there. And that is then placed in such a way that it comes at the inside of the bag. And that is how basically the product is then protected.
So this is the first machine that we see here, and it is polymer, is it? What's the product?
It is polyethylene. So all our bags are completely made out of polyethylene. So after its long life, which can be many, many years, it can also be fully recycled. And it's the only bag, as far as we are aware, that uses this technology, that uses antibacterial technology, and is fully recyclable at the end of its life. So it's truly a unique product. It's being exported as well. We had our first order going to the continent in February with this technology in, and later on in the year we also expect that this will go in bigger volumes to America as well. So there's a lot happening.
So whenever a bacteria lands on there, it physically can't grow. So we don't kill any bacteria. We stop it being able to form a new cell wall. We starve it by affecting the enzymes, and we don't allow it to reform its DNA if the bacteria splits up. So they're all very safe. And it's the reason why we have additives that go into anything from bin bags to spinal implants. It's very, very safe because it doesn't kill the bacteria. It just provides a surface where they can't grow. So no one would know that bacteria could live in a bag for 8 weeks, or no one can see the bacteria on the outside of chicken packaging. That's where the Biomaster fits in, is to help reduce the risk in those occasions, not to get rid of dirt. So if it does look dirty, yes, still clean it.
At the moment, 2 supermarkets, Morrison's and Marks & Spencer, sell the bags with this technology. Paul Morris and Peter Ralton say it costs pennies, and of course, they'd like to see it in all bags for life. I asked the British Retail Consortium, which represents supermarkets, whether their members should give all shoppers the opportunity to buy these bags. They provided a statement which said,
"Stocking this product is a commercial decision, and the supplier is one of many companies that manufactures this product, so we can't promote one over another. Food safety is a priority for UK retailers, and they are making real progress with partners like poultry processors and farmers in tackling Campylobacter and other bacteria. This technology is one measure in an armoury of controls and processes that retailers have in place throughout the supply chain to mitigate microbial contamination. In addition, retailers provide information to consumers on the correct handling and cooking procedures for meat products."
The Food Standards Agency, or FSA, advice is for shoppers to pack raw food separately from ready-to-eat foods. If there's a spillage or damage, then the FSA advice is to bin the bag, or if it's fabric, put it in the washing machine. Professor Anthony Hilton from Aston University, who studied the bacteria in shopping bags, embraces antimicrobial technology as a safety net, but not as a substitute for hygiene.
But I think it's a case of, as the technology becomes more available and people realise what can be done, then there really is no reason why it can't be there as that safety net underneath good hygienic practice anyway.
Professor Anthony Hilton. I took the cat to the vet in mine. I really shouldn't have done that, but I have tweeted the pictures anyway. Tell us what you put in yours. It's